Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score, your go-to destination for expert NHL analysis, breakdowns, and daily betting insights. Tonight's slate is packed with intriguing matchups that look obvious on the surface, but as we dig deeper, you'll see why reading the lines carefully and spotting hidden edges can completely change your perspective. We're going to break down the teams, the money lines, and even the player props, so you're equipped with the insight you need before placing a single bet. Let's start by acknowledging something about perception versus reality. Fans often see narratives in sports the way they see them in TV shows. Think of long-running series like Stranger Things. Kids supposedly still in high school after 6 years off screen. In reality, they're in their 30s. Sports betting has the same illusion problem. Teams may look dominant or struggling based on recent narratives, but the actual performance trends tell a more accurate story. And tonight's NHL slate is a perfect example of that phenomenon. You might look at Anaheim versus St. Louis or the Jets versus Buffalo and think, this is a no-brainer, but the real value is always deeper than the surface odds. First up, let's examine the New Jersey Devils facing the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Devils are a remarkably strong team at home, boasting just one regulation loss at their own rink. Meanwhile, Columbus is missing a key piece in Marenko and has been inconsistent, dropping games left and right. When you line up those factors, the choice seems straightforward, the Devils at -150. But it's more than just obvious logic. Looking at team structure, recent form, and matchup history reinforces this pick. The Devils have the consistency, depth, and home advantage to secure a win, and from a betting perspective, that makes them a reliable anchor for a multi-team selection. Now, take a look at Anaheim versus St. Louis. At first glance, you might automatically gravitate toward Anaheim. They started the season hot, after all, and the Blues have been struggling. But trends shift rapidly in hockey. St. Louis has rebounded, winning 3 of their last 4 games, and the Ducks have hit a rough patch, particularly without Doyle in the lineup to stabilize defense and make key saves. Anaheim's recent performance against Chicago illustrates this clearly. They built an early 2-0 lead, only to collapse in a 6-3 loss, which included a couple of empty net goals. Fatigue and back-to-back games further complicate Anaheim's ability to execute. When evaluating the money line, St. Louis at -150 actually reflects a team in better form than most bettors might assume, and it presents a smart contrarian angle for anyone looking beyond the obvious pick. For player props, there's excellent value to be found in targeting top-line players with scoring opportunities. Jake Neighbors is a perfect candidate here. Playing alongside Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas on the top line with power play opportunities, Neighbors is positioned to capitalize against a Ducks team giving up goals frequently, especially after back-to-back games. A point for Neighbors in this matchup is priced attractively, and betting the full line for a point can push payouts above +300, combining strategic insight with value. Moving to Buffalo, the Sabres have had a roller coaster of a season, and tonight's matchup against the Winnipeg Jets highlights just how unpredictable they can be. Buffalo's results have been inconsistent. After a convincing shutout loss to the Devils at home, they went on the road and forced overtime against Minnesota. Now, they welcome a Winnipeg team that's regained some rhythm. Even without Connor Hellebuyck, the Jets have shown resilience and structured gameplay, earning their first win in several games. If we were only looking at favorites, Winnipeg would appear the safe pick. Their confidence is returning, and the structure of their top lines makes them capable of exploiting defensive lapses. However, the Sabres are far from powerless. Key line combinations remain potent, particularly Tage Thompson paired with Paige Thompson and Zach Benson. Even if Benson isn't a star, his positioning on the top line and top power play unit gives him ample opportunity to score or assist against a Jets team conceding more goals than in seasons past. Pairing him with Paige Thompson in a prop bet allows you to capitalize on scoring opportunities without relying on the unpredictable full-game outcome. This line combination is a smart approach, giving bettors the chance to target high-probability points while diversifying risk. Looking at the broader slate, it's critical to balance perception with the numbers. Anaheim may look dominant, Buffalo may seem erratic, and the Devils may appear too obvious to pick, but all of these matchups have underlying narratives and statistical trends that can be leveraged for smarter betting. Observing line combinations, goalie form, home versus road performance, and recent streaks provides insight beyond surface-level assumptions. The key is to combine traditional money line logic with prop-level nuance, allowing you to maximize value across the board. Tonight's strategy: identify the 5 most likely winners across the slate and commit to them early. Engage with this process before the puck drops, and you'll see how many bettors overestimate or underestimate certain matchups. This isn't just engagement, it's a practical exercise in thinking like a sportsbook, seeing how narratives and momentum influence public perception, and capitalizing on edges where the lines have mispriced probabilities. The Devils, the Jets, and St. Louis are prime examples of teams where calculated decisions yield strong expected value. For those diving into player props, keep your focus on top-line scorers in high-opportunity situations. Jake Neighbors on the Blues top line and the Thompson line in Buffalo are excellent examples of exploiting positional and matchup advantages. Targeting these players allows you to secure payouts on points while mitigating risk from full-game outcomes. Over the long term, combining smart money line plays with prop bets like these will separate casual bettors from those consistently finding value in the NHL. Now let's move to Philadelphia, where the Flyers are facing the Pittsburgh Penguins. At one point, these teams represented the pinnacle of their conferences. Pittsburgh was dominating the East, and San Jose and the Flyers were holding top spots out west, but both squads have seen sharp declines. Tonight's matchup might feel like a rematch of mid-2010s Stanley Cup glory, but the reality is very different. Both clubs are now firmly in the middle of the pack, hovering around .500 records, which makes this matchup tricky yet intriguing for betting angles. Philadelphia fans, as many know, are notoriously passionate, and sometimes their energy can affect the atmosphere in subtle ways. Recent Eagles games have shown that even after a Super Bowl win, fans may boo or express frustration when the team isn't performing exactly as they wish. While that may not directly impact the Flyers' play, it illustrates the kind of emotional backdrop teams face in Philly. For bettors, understanding the environment helps contextualize why momentum and morale can swing unexpectedly. On the ice, the Flyers have been inconsistent for a while, and Pittsburgh has struggled similarly. However, the Penguins still feature elite talent capable of shifting outcomes, and that brings us to tonight's top player prop, Erik Karlsson. Karlsson, the Penguins' power play defenseman, has fluctuated in price recently, moving from a standard -140 to -150 to a more attractive +110 for a point tonight. This is a prime opportunity for bettors to capitalize on top-line ice time, power play opportunities, and favorable matchups against a Flyers team that has struggled defensively. Combining Karlsson for a point with a 2-point bet on Sidney Crosby forms a natural same-game prop strategy, allowing you to leverage both the top defenseman and the franchise star in a complementary way. The late game also presents potential value, even if some player props haven't been released yet. Speculation is that lineup uncertainties, like Logan's status due to a recent injury, may be affecting prop availability. Regardless, there are clear paths to value once those props go live, particularly for teams with high ice time top lines. Switching over to the Utah, Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes facing the San Jose Sharks, we see a team on a serious losing skid. The Coyotes have dropped 10 of their last 12 games, and matchups like this provide some of the best betting opportunities. When a team is underperforming so consistently, the odds on individual players and lines often become appetizing. For example, Perka has recently played alongside Schmaltz and Keller, and while line consistency remains a question, the potential for elevated ice time, power play shifts, and scoring opportunities against a defensively weak Sharks squad is high. If a key player like Coley is out, Perka is likely to be bumped up to the top power play, which only increases value for point-based prop bets. Even the Sharks, who have shown signs of improvement and greater scoring ability, can still be targeted with player props. Players like Celebrini and Will Smith offer strong scoring potential, particularly if they see top-line minutes or power play opportunities. Alex Wennberg, while on the second line with Eklund, still plays on the top power play unit and often sees 3-on-3 overtime shifts. For point props, Wennberg at +120 or +130 represents a solid value pick, offering upside without relying on team outcomes alone. Games like this often yield high-priced prop combinations. A standard 5.5 total provides leverage for multiple point bets, and stacking 2-point props across players like Celebrini, Perka, Keller, and Will Smith can produce strong returns if the scoring opens up. Even if the team is struggling as a whole, targeting top-line minutes and power play opportunities creates a layer of strategic risk mitigation that aligns well with professional betting practices. For bettors looking to maximize value tonight, the key takeaway is this: identify top-line players, monitor power play involvement, and consider recent team trends and matchup-specific performance. Whether it's Carlson and Crosby in Pittsburgh, or Perka, Keller, and Celebrini out west, the combination of player props and line analysis provides an edge that traditional money line betting alone cannot offer. Before we wrap up, a quick note on engagement and staying connected with Beyond the Box Score. If you enjoy this analysis, subscribing and hitting the notification bell ensures you never miss a breakdown. Leaving a comment and sharing your 5-team predictions helps create a community of informed bettors who can compare strategies and discuss line value. Tonight, as always, we're looking at multiple avenues for both team and player edge. Remember, NHL betting is about more than picking winners, it's about understanding ice time, lines, power plays, and team trends to uncover opportunities that others may overlook. By analyzing both team and individual player performance, you're positioning yourself for long-term success rather than reacting purely to narratives. That wraps up tonight's NHL breakdown for Beyond the Box Score. Keep following for daily insights, prop breakdowns, and the sharpest analysis you'll find anywhere. Stay informed, stay disciplined, and most importantly, take advantage of the numbers rather than the hype. Subscribe, hit the bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Your next winning bet starts here.